Okay, good morning, everybody. I just noticed that the mic was off. I apologize for that, but yes, here we are. It is Larsen Live. It is September the 14th. Yes, September the 14th. Happy September. I apologize for not being here last week. There was school-related crap I had to deal with, for I am back in the public school system. The mic is not dead, Pony Throat. I just had the mic off because I'm an idiot sometimes. I apologize for that. Since I'm back in the public school system, you know what that means. Brap nonsense all around. Actually, not so much so far. The kids are actually pretty well behaved this past week. 1 week down and 30 or so to go. I would assume that their good behavior is due to me absolutely laying the law down first things first. I literally put up a "don't make me tap the sign" meme in my classroom. And, yeah, they have not necessitated me tapping the sign thus far. So you see, people, a brap population can be made to not brap if you immediately just put the whip hand down. So yes, anyway, Ponythroat says that was video music. It was not. It was Basil Poleudoris' Mountain of Power Procession from the seminal soundtrack to Conan the Barbarian, 1982, which I played for obvious reasons. For James Earl Jones is no more. The king is dead, and there is no more king to long live. I'm just cramming multiple movie references together. You thought I was going to do something from Star Wars or The Lion King? Wrong. I mean, those songs are good, but they're not Basil Poleudoris. I mean, if I really wanted to be a pompous pain in the ass, I would have done something from, like, The Great White Hope or something similar like that. Or perhaps Othello. I believe Mr. Jones played Othello on Broadway many, many times. Yeah, I know normally we don't do celebrity stuff until the very end, but, I thought it was pretty relevant. Granted, the man was 93 years old. He was probably going to die sooner or later. But yes, he was a part of all of our childhoods in some way. So, may Mr. Jones rest in peace. This is CNN, etc., etc., etc. Ponythroat says, "Yep, I thought I had heard it before. I saw that movie not long ago." So you're technically not wrong in that it is swashbuckly. To be a true swashbuckler, it's got to be set in the Cavalier years and have a distinctly sort of idealistic tone, which the works of Robert Howard and John Milius do not have. But yes, we will put celebrities aside for now, and we'll talk about the title story, Num Num Cats. What's going on in Springfield? Not Springfield where the Simpsons live, although it may very well be, but Springfield, Ohio, a small town of about 60,000 people, which, unbeknownst to anybody, just had 20,000 Haitians dropped in there for some reason. Reasons like the government hates American citizens. There are rumors going around that they are eating stray cats. No one has been able to prove such a specific thing has been going on. I mean, they eat dirt cookies in Haiti, but I don't think anyone says they've ever eaten cats. However, with that being said, things are all not wine and roses. While they may not be eating cats and dogs, despite what Mr. Trump says, there have been reports of them eating geese and ducks from the park. Just, hunting them without licenses, hunting them with illegal methods, just going out and snatching some poultry just because. Also, there has been at least one person killed, not in a murder per se, but in a traffic accident. Okay, there was an Aiden Clark, a little boy who was killed in a road accident caused by a Haitian unlicensed driver. Following his death, Clark's parents immediately came out and made a statement saying, "We disavow racism. I wish that a elderly white man killed my son instead." Curiously, he didn't say anything about, wishing his son were not dead, Just that, he wished that a white man had killed his son. Yes. Aiden would have insisted that you do the same, he says. Yeah, so apparently, what happens, I don't know if this is true or not, but I've heard rumors that there's a special task force that the United States government will send to you if your family does get killed by an illegal immigrant or a refugee. They will literally send federal agents to your home who basically force you to make a PR statement about why mass migration is le good. Yes, apparently there is a community relations service from the Department of Justice, which basically coerces these sorts of, we shit-lib statements from people. Yes, so the CRS serves as America's peacemaker for communities facing conflict based on actual or perceived race, color, origin, gender identity, etc. We provide facilitated dialogue, mediation, training, and consultation to assist those communities to come together, develop solutions to the conflict, and enhance their capacity to prevent and resolve future conflict. Yes, so again, it really is like the government will send people to basically make you have the right politically correct opinions. I really don't understand how people can say that the United States is, white supremacist or fascist after reading countless stories like this. Like, Aiden Clark, who was murdered by an illegal immigrant, or Laken Riley, murdered by an illegal immigrant, or, the countless examples of brappies being given 30 goddamn plus chances to pull their shit together, and then they end up killing more people. It's not fascist, but I don't know what you can call it other than gay race communism. I genuinely think that might be the term that you should call it, but that's, of course, assuming that anybody espousing this crap is intellectually capable of having a coherent political vision for their nonsense, which I don't think they do. Shinseki Evans says Kamala giggled when Trump brought up animals being murdered. Ponythroat says the haters are certainly ruining the place, but I'm convinced there's no truth to the cat stuff. Picture didn't happen. Yeah, again, I've seen evidence and pictures of them, poaching geese and ducks from the park, but I've never seen any evidence of them eating cats. It's, with that being said, I don't necessarily think, at the very least, the community should have voted on whether or not they wanted, a third of their population to be replaced by, people from another country. But I guess that's not feasible. Yes. On a similar topic, we're going to leave Ohio and go to New York City. Migrants who are not just coming from Mexico, but from many other countries, are absolutely flooding the New York City justice system, making up almost 75% of arrests in Midtown. According to the New York Post, the pathetic sanctuary city laws handcuff the cops. These are the same people, of course, who are basically given, free apartments in Rochester, and they complain about it. They're given lots of money to be resettled, and nobody seems to care. I mean, the government's just a big piggy bank we can all just take from at will, apparently. Yeah, why does America suck so much compared to other wealthy countries? It's a mystery. Of course, not to be outdone, the other wealthy countries are trying to speed run American shittiness, and we're all in a merry race down the toilet. And unlike Bart and Lisa Simpson's toilet race, this isn't done just to test out the Coriolis effect. Okay, Ponythroat says, I'm coming in a bit quieter than usual. I'm just going to move my face closer to the microphone. Let's see if that does it. Yes, no, yes, no. Again, it's still boggling my mind that there's literally a branch of the government which tells you to, redirect your anger towards some vague sense of racism rather than, the people who killed your child. Yeah, it's not good. Situation really sucks. And yeah, speaking of Kamala Harris vis-a-vis Donald Trump, they had a debate. I don't think either side came out looking particularly good. I mean, I hate to reference 20-year-old South Park episodes, but this is really like voting between a giant douchebag and a turd sandwich. Neither of them are good. I mean, I don't care for a lot of what Kamala does. Cammy. I try really hard to not refer to Kamala as Cammy because that's an insult to Camellia White, the greatest fighting game character ever come out of the UK. But yes, not too long ago, on September 2nd, actually, Kamala Harris did some rally in Detroit, Michigan, and like any good Democratic politician, she put on this ridiculous shucking and jiving, black scent to be, down with the people. She don't get no ways tired, as Hillary Clinton would have put it best. Yeah, Hillary Clinton does that. Alexandra Cortez does it. She does it. Again, I like to point out that Kamala Harris grew up in Canada with 2 PhDs for parents. She comes out there and be like, let me ask you a Pacific question. Kamala, you've never spoken like that in your life. Please stop. It's embarrassing. A couple years ago, before I met my wife, I was in my car with a lady, and we were listening to Creedence Clearwater Revival, and I made a bit of a joke while listening to Born on the Bayou, something along the lines of, John Fogerty, you're from the San Francisco Bay. You have never said the term chugling in your life. Please stop. It's kind of the same thing. I mean, it's a blatant grift this woman's doing. It's pretty goddamn embarrassing. Yes, I'm gonna. Let me ask you a Pacific. It's fucking embarrassing. There used to be a time when you were trained to not speak in these sort of low-class vernacular accents. But I guess that's not a thing we do anymore. Then, of course, everybody in the crowd started clapping like a trained seal. It's, yeah, it's pretty embarrassing. Okay. Ponythroat says, crime and destitution in New York City, the cradle of civilization. Yes, I know, it's a shock. Not too long ago, there was green toxic ooze coming out of the sewers. Sadly, there are no giant radioactive reptiles to fight crime. As much as we wish there were. Ponythroat says, Cammy was a character in the Street Fighter live-action movie. Yes, played by the very British actress Kylie Minogue from Melbourne, Australia. And also a woman who has no martial arts experience whatsoever. I mean, I don't know. I'm sure Jean-Claude Van Damme taught her a little bit while he was banging her, behind his wife's back and snorting mountains of cocaine. Yeah, by the way, if you haven't read, I forget which website had it. It was an article about what a clusterfuck the live-action Street Fighter movie was. Yeah, go read that article. It's astounding. Oh boy, this photo shoot's really hard. Time to go get a jerk-off massage for the 3rd time today. Do-do-do-do-do-do. But yes, please, Kamala, tell us more about how you carry hot sauce in your pocket to prove your authentic blackness. Not to be outdone by, stupid political candidate nonsense. Let's see what our people our intellectual betters think about the United States Constitution. The New York Times says, the Constitution is sacred. Is it also dangerous? The Constitution is broken. It should not be reclaimed. MAGA turns against the Constitution. The Constitution will not save us. Is the Constitution obstructing American democracy? Let's give up on the Constitution. Yes, Jennifer Salai, this woman who's, one of many Canadians who just kind of hangs around America and just kind of grips off us. A lot of British people do that too. She also looks like she's an illustration from these Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark series. Yes, the Constitution is a threat to democracy that's beyond redemption. It's, we got to limit that First Amendment, they say. The First Amendment is le bad. How about no? The First Amendment is, in fact, le good. Okay. Ponythroat says, bad for all the same reasons Mortal Kombat Annihilation was. Yeah, well, the thing about Mortal Kombat Annihilation was, like, that was just a failure of the script more than anything. And they promoted, like an assistant photographer to DP, and then, like, they promoted the coffee boy to a photographer, and they had really cheap special effects, and that was just bad. But the Street Fighter movie had, like, good people involved in it. It was just slapped together in a rush job, and it shows. C-Punk Messiah says, apparently there's a guy experimenting with horse electrolytes and is documenting his experiences on Twitter. Yes, I did see that. This gentleman is saying, like, yeah, man, my skin is pulsating, it's tingling. Sir, you might be having potassium poisoning. All right, we got 8 people in so far. It's pretty good. Yes, first there was horse dewormer, and now there's horse electrolytes. I mean, I'm pretty sure you could find, like, the original Gatorade recipe online back when it was in glass bottles and apparently literally tasted like urine. But apparently it was really powerful. It really rejuvenate you. They actually made it for the University of Florida football team. Tony Gilbert says, hey, Larsen, how's it going? He's working on a mini bike. That's pretty cool, sir. One of my saxophone students actually was selling a mini bike once, but as I didn't have $8,000 laying around, I did not buy it. I offered to buy it for $2,000, but that was not enough. Shinseki Evans says, Trump is the lesser of 2 evils. I mean, I guess maybe. Like, Trump's a douchebag. But I've said it before and I'll say it again. The fact that all the neocon shitheads are against him, that doesn't point in his favor. Tony Gilbert says, you can find the original Gatorade formula, and it was made for the Gators originally. Yes, you can also find the original Kentucky Fried Chicken recipe, but don't let them tell you that. Ponythroat says that he is a horse and he drinks Gatorade. Ponythroat then clarifies that both the Street Fighter movie and Mortal Kombat Annihilation felt the need to shove every character in, even if it made no sense. Half of them do nothing. Yes. I mean, at the very least, Street Fighter the movie was better than the Legend of Chun-Li movie. And that was a fucking unwatchable train wreck. Ponythroat then says, the horse electrolytes are probably harmless. Well, in small doses, yes, but being as horses tend to be a little bit bigger than the average person, you might overdose on electrolytes and potassium. Ponythroat then clarifies that he clarifies exactly like I said. He's taking an equine dose, or half an equine dose, which is way too much. Tony Gilbert says the KFC recipe isn't even that complicated. It's good, but his recipe is better. I'll take your word for it, sir. But yes, if you're gonna fry up some meat, make sure it's not a stray cat. Anyway, moving on from American politics for now, let's talk about some European politics. Gen Z is overwhelmingly voting for the AfD Alternative for Deutschland party, which is a quote-unquote far-right party in Germany. I think that's beautiful. That's not me, that's what the quote said. I'm reading on the Twitters. Once again, Germans don't do things in half measures. When the pendulum swings left, they swing to the left. And it's like literally, migrants should know that Germans are willing to have gay sex with you. When they swing to the far right, we should all run for cover because shit's about to get real. I'm not going to pretend like I know that much about European politics, but I have been noticing there's been a major backlash towards, great replacement migration and such. In Ireland, Britain, France, Germany, Denmark, Denmark and Sweden have actually, started putting up like quotas and things on immigration again. And for some reason, it's just us, Anglosphere colonies like America and Canada are just bending over full force and taking it in the ass. Yeah. Maybe things will turn around. Maybe. Tony Gilbert says Germany's getting weird, but they legalize weeds, so... Yes, 24 then says, for no reason at all, the AfD was elected, referring to a certain meme. Robert Diaz says, thanks for making my car ride enjoyable. I try to, sir. Tony Gilbert says that Chun-Li movie was almost as bad as the Dragon Ball Evolution movie. Yeah, it wasn't great. 24 then says, yes, the movie where Chun-Li grows out of being Asian to fight Irish M. Bison. Yes, she's a little Chinese girl, and then she grows up and becomes Kristen Crook, who I believe is partially Chinese, but she's pretty white-looking. Yes, an Irish M. Bison, who I don't know why, but apparently they thought M. Bison was like Geese Howard, because he looks exactly like Geese Howard from King of Fighters. Hey, Seapunk Messiah says, I hate how I'm feeling pressured into voting. I can't say I don't support either one. Can't say they both sides have some good qualities, or I get hit with the maybe a little genocide fallacy. Yes, I don't know, I'm starting to agree with Principal Skinner. Like, can we just get some buttons that say, like, may the best man win? Yeah, shit's about to pop off. Just in general. Even in America, where for some reason we've, ever since the Reagan administration, we've just developed this endless appetite to just eat shit and like the taste of it. But I think even in America, things are starting to, pop off. And I can't say that's bad. All right, so let's leave politics behind for a bit. I mean, it's all politics if you think about it. Everything is political according to people who write for video game magazines. But, yeah, let's see what the girlies are up to today, this past week or so. And I'm really getting tired of talking about this, but yet another sorority thing got sexless man babies mad. At some point, I really will do, like, a proper video on this. It's just like with the Asian sex bullshit and the gay Zelda thing. Like, when I have to talk about something over and over again, eventually I just... I do a video on it so I can not talk about it as much. But, yeah. Yet another sorority video, the Alpha Omegas, or is that, it's Alpha Omega, from a Matt Wallace 888. He posted a video. This is what women go to college to do. They make cringe dance videos. They drink alcohol and do drugs. They fuck the top 20% of dudes on campus that are frat bros and athletes. And eventually they work a stupid entry-level job in HR making $60,000 a year saying men are trash. The only good thing about social media is now men can see how higher academia corrupts modern women into being hoes. Does anybody else remember when men were like heterosexual and enjoyed seeing women dance around in skimpy clothes? I, I, I don't know. Like, I've never understood what's so bad about this. I don't know, maybe because, like, when I was at my most incel-y, like, social media was still kind of in its infancy. So, I don't know, I guess I wasn't exposed to this sort of thing. Maybe I would have acted this way if I was, like, an angry, 15-year-old who whacked off 3 times a day. Maybe. But, I could not possibly care less about this. Like, oh no, women are dancing. Once again, the broads dance. It's what they do. You put them together, they're going to start dancing around and doing little organized routines. It's fine, gentlemen. Like, degeneracy. I guarantee you, the guys who whine about this endlessly and start screaming and demanding, white Sharia, they don't get laid very often. And you can tell because they're always whining about, like, the top 20% of men. Me. I'm going to let you all in on a little secret. It's not all that difficult to be in the top 20%, or actually, let's modify that a little bit. It's very easy to be in the top 50% of men, and it might be somewhat hard to be in the top 20% of men. Like, literally, like, do you work out? Do you have any interesting hobbies beyond watching porn and jacking off? Do you wear decent clothes? Like, can you talk to somebody without shitting your pants in fear? Congratulations, you're in the top 50% of men. But that's too difficult, apparently. I remember, like, years and years ago when I wrote those Return of Kings articles, I actually made a suggestion saying, like, hey, guys, maybe you should, like, work out or, like, learn how to ballroom dance or play an instrument. And they were like, no, I refuse to change myself. I'm a fat ass wearing sweatpants covered in barbecue sauce, and that's the way they ought to like it. Me. Ponythroat says, referring to the Legend of Chun-Li movie, they thought his name was short for Mick Bison. Apparently so, yes. Alpha Marigi says, Dragon Ball Evolution would have been good if the whole movie was like the edit, where Goku dodged a sword by head sliding on a car as replayed 5 times. Yes. Tony Gilbert says they made my man Piccolo look like a green turd. C-Punk Messiah says, genocide is not a right or left-wing concept. It is a psychopath concept. You can be in the middle and advocate for genocide to not happen, the best of both sides, and reject the worst. Yeah, does anybody else remember when the left was anti-war? Yeah, I remember the Bush years. Tony Gilbert says, I have no clue why a dude would complain about girls dancing or doing anything hot. It's just sexual frustration, sir. They see women dancing around, they realize they will never be able to get with those women, and it makes them furious. Rick says, reminds me of the feminist journalist trying to prove colleges were dangerous and ends up complaining about how the girls were dressed. Yeah, it do be like that sometimes. Yes. Yay. I just saw the FBI, he was on our radar meme, which reminds me of the school shooting that happened a week and a half or so ago, which has already dropped off the radar probably because it doesn't fit the narrative of, Trump supporters shooting up schools or whatever. But yes, that was another time where the FBI was observing the person. Multiple people called in threats and red flags, and they did nothing for some reason. What's a narco-tyranny, Grandpa? I don't know, little Billy. I don't know what a narco-tyranny is. We totally shouldn't look that concept up. Wink, wink. I'm just saying, if you open up the insane asylums and the FBI did their job with the red flags, you could probably reduce like 3/4 of the school shootings that happen. Ponythroat says that shooting had strong amounts of BRAP. I mean, probably had strong amounts of, Reagan gutting the mental health apparatus, and coincidentally, that's when the school shooting started. That actually started with the post offices in the '80s. I should say mass shootings. I still recommend the book Going Postal by Matt Ames, which he wrote after Columbine, where he very clearly delineates that argument. I recommended it a few weeks ago, and I still recommend it. C-Punk Messiah says, I must be doing something right. I've had a hell of a dry spell, but I'm far from adopting the incel mindset. I guess drawing porn is a healthy outlet after all. Well, I guess the people are right about that. It's, I don't know, like, the longest dry spell I've had was like a year, and that was after my abusive bitch of a first wife, or technically fiance since we never officially got married. I was done with her, and I kind of took a year off from the game to, kind of clear my head. But yeah, I wasn't really going incel in that regard either. Tony Gilbert asks, BRAP, what is that? Well, I use BRAP in the context of, like, dead-eyed mongoloids making random mouth noises and attacking people. I don't know whether that's what Ponythroat was doing. Robert Diaz says, as soon as the Tennessee school shooter was confirmed trans, the left tried to kill that story. Yes, they did. Ponythroat then says either the post office hires insane people or it drives them insane. Yeah, probably. I know what you meant, Robert Diaz. But yeah, speaking of the transgenders, let's talk a little bit about that. Apparently, there's a bit of a trend going on the TikToks and the OnlyFans, in which, cis women, naturally born ladies, pretend to be trans, which is to say they take big rubber marital aids and just stuff them down the front of their underwear and put, hashtag, trans flag. Yeah, this, this really upset the actual transgenders. And I quote at Slazy Kiana, seeing cis girls shoving dildos in their pants and pretending to be trans for money makes me so angry. My gender isn't your costume. Rolly eyes emoji. I'm going to just pause there and let that sink in. A trans woman says, my gender isn't your costume. I'm a happily married man, but I honestly might have to give these women's OnlyFans a couple of bucks just because I'm just laughing so much at, like, the whole how brilliantly they're trolling here. Like, this is outstanding troll work. Like, Jonathan Swift himself would be impressed by this, like, trolling, H.L. Mencken or someone like that. So, yeah. Basically, men pretending to be women are upset that actual women are pretending to be men pretending to be women. Makes sense to me. I don't know if any of these people ever just took a step back and realized what exactly they were saying. And again, like, my gender isn't your costume. I would find that a little more earnest if you all didn't specifically desire to be like little anime girls and not like just regular cis women. It literally is the Spider-Man meme with them pointing at each other. Okay. C-Punk Messiah says it helps that he's studying music, martial arts, and fitness as well. Ah, yes, the Larsen Halleck plan to, unfuck your shit. Good. I'm saying you should do like that Canadian teacher who had like the gigantic like Z cup fake boobs. They should be like that. They should just be like they should just get like the biggest, ridiculous like dragon dildos or like elephant cocks like possible and just shove them down the front of their pants so that they're like poking out of the corners. Just go like as far as you possibly can with this. Or at least that's what I would do if I were a cis lady. But yes, moving on from this, we're let's see. Say we talked about the ladies, we talked about Europe, we talked about America. Uh, let's talk about the stupid children we have nowadays. Like I said, my students are, pretty good so far from what I've seen. I mean, I do have a lot more work than I did at the Science Center, but I'm also making about $20,000 more a year, which is pretty good. Ponythroat asks, I don't suppose Larsen heard of Smart School by 9. He seems popular online these days. Let me look up that person. Here we go. Give me a second here. Okay, Smart Schoolboy 9. Oh boy, he's got a Nick Crowley video, so, oh boy. Yeah, clearly this is some ridiculous horseshit, so I haven't heard of this person. The last Nick Crowley video I watched was about that, what was it, like Joy Junction. It was like that Christian puppet show that the guy who ran it ended up being like a pedophile. So yeah, I haven't seen this video. I'll have to look into that. But yes, I have not heard of Smart Schoolboy 9, but I can read a few things about stupid schoolboys and schoolgirls. So first of all, on the TikToks, there's a new trend that is hospitalizing the children. First it was the Tide Pods, then it was the bone cracking, and now it's chroming. What is chroming? Apparently you take some chrome paint and you spray it in your face and you inhale it, and that's like good apparently. I mean, the only time it's ever good to snort chrome paint is if you immediately then jump out of a car screaming, "Witness me," and hope to blow up some Russians. Yes, live eternal, my war boys, shiny and chrome. I've always said that modern society kind of retards natural selection. Maybe we should let these people die. I mean, if you're stupid enough to hit yourself in the head with a hammer, or eat laundry detergent, or spray chrome paint in your face, and let's be honest, you weren't exactly gonna, start a Fortune 500 company or invent like some new medical technology. Just FYI. Ponythroat then agrees with me. They shall ride to Valhalla, shiny and chrome. They live, they die, and they live again. The warriors of the wasteland, the Ayatollah of rock and rolla. And yes, I know that's Lord Humongous, not Immortan Joe. Blow me. I don't know, I'm very unimpressed with TikTok in general. Like, in one of my classes this week, one of the kids actually knew about Ivan the Terrible from the TikToks, so I was mildly impressed. Then I see chroming, and I'm back to being unimpressed. Like, why can't we trend something on TikTok that's good, like physical fitness, or like, I guess like they got like book talk, which is encouraging, people to read books, which is good, I guess. Now, granted, a lot of those book talks are just fantasy smut, but at least they're reading something. Yeah, my wife was actually showing me a TikTok the other day where it's like a girl's like, "Oh, you like to read? What do you read?" And she starts thinking about all the smut she's reading. She's like, I like reading fantasy. What kind of fantasy? Fairy porn." Winky face. So, maybe I wish that the girlies were reading something other than like, elves hammering each other, but at least they're reading something, so that's good. Pointy Throat says, "Did Larsen hear the Chase Bank money glitch that absolutely dripped brap?" Yeah, I was actually going to talk about that. Since I guess we'll leave the children behind who are very stupid, but we'll talk about stupid adults now. We could talk about the Chase Bank thing, which is equally stupid. Yeah, so basically, there's a glitch in the Chase Bank system, which allows people to withdraw more money than they have in the bank. So basically, Chase is placing 7-day holds on accounts and hitting those involved with huge negative balances. Probably not helping matters is the fact that very, very stupid brappies were like, they're making it rain, man, brap, on the street. Literally, like, riding down the street, hanging their upper bodies out the window, flashing that Skrilla. And to nobody's surprise, they were caught. Yeah, it turns out that when you have an ATM card with your name on it and your social security number on record, they'll catch you pretty damn fast. So, I mean, say what you will about Bank of America. They at least don't do this, which is where I put my money. So saith somebody on the Twitters. The smarter people were posting about waiting outside the Chase and robbing the ones doing it, which is honestly much safer because at least you're not putting your name out there. I know, like, there genuinely must be some kind of IQ threshold to, like, A, understand, long order consequences, low versus high time preference. Low is the long term one. And also the idea that, like, money doesn't grow on trees. There's a substantial amount of very low IQ people who, seem to think that you can just, money's just free. They're just like magic papers. You can just throw around that will, and some people get the magic and some people don't. A civilized man would have reported the glitch, but that was too much to ask for some people. Ponythroat says, "I don't think huffing Sherman-Williams is new as a trend." Well, obviously, there's been people who, like, snorted paint before. In fact, I remember when I was in elementary school, we had to watch those, like, Dare, drug resistance videos. There's like a little TV movie about a kid who, huffs paint, and then that's like a gateway drug, and he, like, loses his shit on, like, heroin or something. So yeah, even back in, like, the 90s, people were huffing paint. And then, of course, in It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, Charlie came up with his Nightman musical while snorting spray paint. But I don't know, it wasn't like a cool thing that the young whippersnappers were doing. All right, we got 12 people watching. I like this. We need more of this. And I literally scheduled this this morning. As it's like a title thing. Ponythroat then says, "This is literally just check fraud, spelling check in the frou-frou British way. What kind of demographic would believe this? Gets the old noggin jogging. Well, very low IQ, lumpin' proles, that's who." "It's not even a glitch," continues Ponythroat. "It's just Chase Bank taking a day or two to process checks and credit the accounts first because they overestimated people's intelligence." Yeah, you should never overestimate people's intelligence. It's not good. Seapunk Messiah says, "Why do people not combine LARP with fitness? Imagine making a medieval fantasy-inspired workout outfit and working out with your buddies." Yeah, I'm surprised it hasn't happened either. In fact, I did say once long ago that, like, The second that somebody figures out how to simulate living on an ice age tundra, like spearing mammoths with like flint spears, whoever invents that, like, they'll be a millionaire. Now, I myself don't do fitness LARPing, but I do pick up large boulders. So I should just put on some leather pants or something. Seabung Messiah says guys working out like gnomes, elves, dwarves, and goblins would go down well. Yeah, I'm surprised people don't do that. Alpha Marigis says the most infamous Chase Bank video was a sketch. The cash was labeled for motion picture purposes. Well, I'm sure some of those were fake, but I'm sure some of them were real also. A lot of people use Inspect Element to make it look like they owed billions of dollars. Yeah, so some of them were, yeah, I could see some of the pictures were, motion picture use only. I actually have a motion picture, like, $100 bill somewhere in my box of crap. Yeah, apparently some of these were fake, but some of them were real. But yeah, some people just don't understand where money comes from. But yes, the children are very stupid. You know, and the education industry is very stupid as well. Let's open that up in a second. Let me see if there's something else I can talk about here. Oh, yeah, so first of all, in stupid kid nonsense, from our teachers, NSFW, I asked a ninth grader to put away their Play-Doh. I was given a Nazi salute and told, fuck you, you fucking faggot. Happy Monday. I have so many questions here. First of all, why is a ninth grader playing with Play-Doh? Like, do 14-year-olds not have the capacity to play with or do other things for entertainment besides playing Play-Doh? It's not even like he's making like a statue out of clay or something. Secondly, why is the teacher not metaphorically stomping that kid into the ground with disciplinary action? If only because, like, he can't literally stomp him into the ground, no matter how badly I want to. Fucking, boy, I hate some kids sometimes. I mean, if he's playing with Play-Doh, maybe you could give him one of those, like, city, street, like, floor mats. He could play, like, remote control cars or something. Hi, I'm a 14-year-old boy. I play with Play-Doh. When I was a child, like a 14, 13-year-old, I tried to be more mature for my age, but apparently that's not what the kids are doing now. They are like brat slay queens and they play with Play-Doh. Liam Roddy says, classy children. Yeah, they sure are. Ponythroat says, napping rocks in the blades is a fun hobby and very accessible too. Getting an actual blade, defined anthropologically as a flint chip twice as long as it is wide, it's harder than you think. I did some flint napping when I was in my undergraduate days. Oldowan and Acheulean tools I can actually do pretty good. The Mousterian and, like, Solitrain and the, Clovis points, I wasn't so good at that. But that is something I've always wanted to, like, really dedicate my time to. But of course, there's always a lot of shit I have to do that isn't related to the things I want to do. I can't nappy nap my rocks. But yeah, the kids are... Boy, some kids piss me off sometimes. And speaking of... once again, we have the double penetration of crappy schools. Shithead, brappy kids and weenie administrators. So saith some idiot. If you read to your children, you are unfairly disadvantaging other children. Yeah, so not only is there white privilege, there's like bedtime story privilege. Boy, you know, I was sent not too long ago a video of my sister-in-law reading my niece Harold and the Purple Crayon. I should have driven up to Massachusetts and yelled at them for giving my niece an unfair advantage in life. You know, how dare they? My niece is 75% white, so, you know, she's got, like, white privilege. Dare I say that the whole point of being a parent is you want to give your children an unfair advantage over the other children. I mean, obviously not in an illegal sense, but yes, you want your children to be better than the other kids. You want them to, you know, learn and get tutoring and, you know, play sports and be the best they can be. Yeah, why don't we just not educate the children at all until they get to the, you know, state-run school? Why don't we cut the kids' legs off at the knees so they can all be in wheelchairs while we're at it? Boy, these... fucking... Your child offends me because he can read and my child can't. You are privileged, sir. Idiots. Ponythroat says, Larsen's niece is 75% white, just like Chun-Li. Yes, Kristen Crook, Chun-Li. The Chun-Liest of Chun-Lis. Liam Roddy says, life isn't fair. Is it unfair that some people have high IQs? I mean, apparently so. You gotta force equity. And speaking of kids doing stupid shit, my wife showed me some new fashion trend that's sweeping the nation, or at least the part of the nation that reads TikToks. Apparently, like, people are wearing, like, these giant shirts that, like, go down to their ankles. Let me see if I can find a picture of this crap. I mean, it wasn't enough that we've talked about, like, those bowl mullets and, like, those, like, stupid cartoon shoes. Yeah, people are wearing giant shirts now. I'm trying to find the picture of what my... Wait, hold on. This is going to take a little while to finagle here, but I'm going to do it. Give me 1 second. Let me open up the text here. Okay. I don't know if this is like a thing that's, you know, on anything except for TikTok, but I see it and it's really stupid. Hold on, let me... Crap, come on. But yeah, these are... They look like giant overgrown toddlers wearing like little baby nightshirts or like something. It's a really stupid fashion trend, and people in general don't dress well nowadays, but it's really what they're doing now. Come on. There we go. Okay. Let's just open this up here. Ponythroat says, Larsen is very far from the mic now. Yeah, I apologize. I was looking at my phone trying to find the thing. I didn't want to have dead air. First thing they taught me to do when I was doing radio at Rutgers. No dead air, sir. Okay, so here we go. Okay, Liam Roddy says equity and equality are not the same thing. Ponythroat says Junko jeans are back. I certainly hope not. Okay. Alpha Mariga says, I remember in Transformers Prime, one of the children who rapped into the plot looked like an 8 to 12-year-old playing with an RC car in the parking lot. They reckon that he was a short genius. Pointy Throat says, a giant shirt is just a robe. It's also a beltless dress, says Liam Roddy. Yeah, this shit right here. Like, what is this? When my wife sent me the this image, I immediately sent her a picture of Mickey Dugan, the yellow kid, who was the first popular cartoon character in American history. I mean, that's immediately where my mind went. Hully Gee. Yeah, you ain't so warm, you little. Yeah, you ain't so warm. What? Yes, this is immediately where my mind goes, and this is, clearly you can see why I have such a high viewer count because I reference cartoons from the 1890s. Sorry, that's the wrong image. Let me just finagle this here. I realize this is taking a very long time. Crap, that's not it either. Clicked on the wrong thing. Sorry. Okay, I'm going to get this right the third time. Third time's the charm. You've all stopped caring about the joke at this point, but I'm just going to do it anyway. There we go. Yeah, this is where my mind went, referencing 1890s cartoons, because I'm a very old man. Liam Roddy says they're making fun of long t-shirts and sagging pants. Also hospital gowns. Well, I certainly hope so, because if this is actually a thing the kids are doing nowadays, I'm going to be a little upset. I mean, Gen Z has terrible fashion trends in general, but this is a bridge too far. Anyway, let's move on from that. The fashion sucks. Let's see what we got here. Let's see what I can find, talk about. Oh yeah, Wagie's got it in the shorts a couple of times this week. So, from Wagie's posting L's online, one of my, sardonically favorite Twitter accounts. Attention all employees of Maxine's Family Kitchen. Calling out because your child is sick is no longer a valid excuse to miss work. You will now be written up. We do not employ your children, and as such, their sickness is not an excuse for you to miss work. Go team. Yeah, fuck your child, Wagie. Your family is Maxine's Family Kitchen. Yeah, I'm just gonna say it. I don't have any kids, but if you told me that my kid is my second priority to my job, I will punch you in the face, and I will walk out. I mean, if you told me that my dog was the second priority, I would hit you, and I would hit you hard. Alpha Rodriguez says it looks like something an Adam Sandler character would wear. Liam Roddy says it's the style from 20 years ago, not what the urban youth are wearing. Well, I certainly hope not. And secondly, with regards to wages, Dollar General says poor U.S. consumers are running out of money. People are more financially constrained than 6 months ago. So just to put that in plain English, people are too poor to go to the dollar store. Dollars are too expensive now for the children. I mean, I don't like giving people handouts, but as I've said before, I'm starting to slowly come around to UBI just as like a lesser evil. If only so we can pay brappies and like feral derelicts to get off the street. But yeah, when the dollar store is too expensive, seek help. Alfrediga says, I don't see anything like that. You wouldn't unless you went back to 2003 for a drink. Well, I would kind of hope to go back to like pre 9/11 America, back when this country was still somewhat sane. But yeah, let's move on from that. Let's see. Now we're going to kind of bridge the gap between pop culture and real news. I'm just going to open up a couple of links here. So, apparently there's a bit of a tiff at Disney World. A Disney-obsessed couple loses a lawsuit to get back into the exclusive Club 33. For those of you who are not aware, there's some kind of highfalutin elite club, Club 33, which I believe is some Freemason thing, at Disneyland. Sorry, not Disney World, Disneyland. A couple paid $31,000 in yearly dues to get into the club. Disney revoked their membership after an allegation that the husband, Scott Anderson, was drunk in public. The Andersons, both 60 years old, have spent the years since retirement trying to get back in the Club 33. The Orange County jury rejected their claim that Disney ousted them improperly. So they applied in 2002. They got off the waiting list in 2012. Their attorney, Sean Macias, says in the civil trial, this was their spot. This was their happy place, their home. Mr. Anderson says, my retirement has been set back 5 years. I'm paying through the nose. Every day is another bill, and I will keel over. He said he will keep appealing. I'll sell a kidney, his wife Diana said. I don't care. This corporate nightclub was their spot, their happy place, their home. I'm sorry, what the hell's going on in, like, Club 33 that's so damn good you got to pay $30,000 for? Like, if I'm paying that much money to get into a Disney club, Cinderella herself better give me a goddamn blowjob. Like, I don't... I'm sorry, like, nothing that goes on in there could possibly be that damn good. Liam Roddy says the 33 is a reference to the end years of Prohibition. I see. I still question what exactly is going on in Club 33 that's worth $30,000 a year. You know, I don't want to sound rude, but I would almost demand being allowed to run trains on all the princesses if I paid that damn much. Alpha Reed says a lot of celebrities are in Club 33. Well, la-dee-da. Ponythroat says you get to eat popsicles from the same freezer that Walt Disney's corpse is in. Tempting, but still not worth that much money. You know, if you're... These people apparently have a shitload of money to spend this much money, which is apparently $400,000 on, like, traveling and legal fees. First of all, I have to question how somebody this stupid could possibly make that much money in life. But secondly, if you have that much money, you could honestly buy your own nightclub, pay people to dress up like Disney characters, and, like, have your own booze. I'm going to start my own Disney club with champagne and hookers, as Bender would put it. And yes, I realize that Bender is now technically Disney property. Ponythroat says, is Nala available to run trains on? Oh, for fuck's sake. Ponythroat, we talked about this a couple of weeks ago about men wanting to have sex with mountain lions. Please don't do that. And yes, I know she's an African lion, not a mountain lion, but don't have sex with the animals, please. C-Punk Messiah says it better be the Disney version of Studio 54 where you can do a line of fairy dust off Tinkerbell's ass. That's what I'm saying. Liam Roddy says, considering what Disney pays cast members, I'm guessing you could get oral for less than $100. Yeah, I'm sorry, there's like what? There is no goddamn club in the world that's worth like $30,000 yearly membership dues. Alpha Mariga says it's a cult. It sure sounds like it. Okay, moving on. Let's see what's going on in the land of the rising sun. More specifically, anime and manga news. It's time once again for the yearly discourse of, little dweeby wuss boys reading Berserk and getting their fifis hurt. Says Just Might, Meight, Berserk dropped. I'm taking censored shonen over this disgusting shit any day. Good, well, us Berserk fans, we don't want you. Some other whiny little bitch says it's just rape after rape. Excuse me, sir. It's not just senseless, sexual violence. It's meaningful and powerful sexual violence. Thank you very much. Oh no, the seinen manga, which is made for adults, has adult stuff in it. How terrible. Looking at the comments here, Liam Roddy says, have you ever met a Disney adult? They're insufferable. No, I've never met a Disney adult, but I've read news stories and they seem like colossal pains in the ass. C-Punk Messiah says, they're funding the rare minerals and recruiting cultists needed for the resurrection ritual. Yeah, that's got to be what it is. Maybe C-Punk Messiah is right. Maybe it is like the Disney Studio 54. In which case, I could almost justify that much money. Referring to Berserk, Ponythroat says, the shitlibs cannot handle the based Berserk rape horse. Yes, everyone's favorite character. So sick of you damn people trying to read Berserk and you can't handle it. Like, Berserk is a masterpiece of fantasy. I think it's just as, like, it should be in the same, like, pantheon as, like, Lord of the Rings and Conan the Barbarian and stuff. Like, if you people can't handle it, get the fuck out of here then. Like, Kentaro Miura literally died for you people. Like, writing until, like, his last breath. Like, writing his manga and drawing it, too. Like, every so often, this discourse comes up, and, like, you people need to, like, stop with this shit. I mean, you get the Dark Horse translation. It clearly says, the same, we have no bitches here. If you are a bitch, don't read Berserk. Simple. Okay. Robert Diaz says, I bet those dudes watched Golgo 13 and they were offended that he shot people. Ponythroat says, Berserk the anime was unjustly cancelled. It got as far as the bit Casca enjoyed. Yes. Are you referring to the 1997 one or the 2016 one? Or the three movies? Because either way, the answer is yes. I don't know. Like the 2016 one, I don't think that was unjustly canceled. I didn't really care for that one. Yeah, let's make this sword sound like a frying pan hitting someone in the face every time. Let's have, like, heavy metal guitars. Seapunk Messiah says, my old Taku aunt lent me her Berserk collection when I was 17. I inhaled it. It ruled. I acknowledge that the villains do really terrible things. Yeah, I got into it when I was in high school as well. I don't know, my friends recommended it to me. And, yeah, like, I read up until, oh, what was it? I think it was, my original, I got, like, the big torrent. I read up until short, it was when Farnese was engaged to be married to Roderick. And they were starting to talk about going to Elfheim, but they didn't actually leave on the journey yet. Yeah, it is good stuff. 1997 one is what Pony Throat was referring to. Those other ones were terrible. I like the 3 movies. I mean, they kind of cut out a lot of stuff, but I did really like it. Yeah, the 2016 one was crap. Yeah, perhaps there were some rights issues. But yeah, Berserk is not a place for bitches, and if you don't like it, you can leave. Okay, in video game news, Sony's colossal failure, Concord, will be taken offline on September 6, 2024. Taken fully offline for good. All players will receive a full refund. Sorry. You spent $150 million on a game nobody liked. That's an astounding failure. And, like, they canceled. They basically gutted the company that makes, like, the Dark Souls games, one of their biggest sellers, for that. And yeah, I saw a meme the other day where it's like it was a picture of Shigeru Miyamoto, Nintendo's head honcho. And it was just like, what is the business strategy called where you just stand by and do nothing while your enemies shoot themselves in the foot? I don't know, but Nintendo basically defaulted back into the #1 spot after decades of being a runner-up. Just by watching their competitors fuck up majorly. Now, of course, I have my issues with Nintendo's creative vision, but at least they're not doing this shit. Alpha Riga says it's the 14th. It's already offline. Yeah, I know. I take bullet points. It was taken offline September 6th. I did say that, I believe. But yeah, I take bullet points. I just kind of shoot from the hip, so to speak. Ponythroat says it, before you read Berserk, you must put your glasses on, and nothing will go wrong. Ponythroat says Concord was a mediocre Overwatch ripoff that ripped off Guardians of the Galaxy character design. Ponythroat says it's the Luigi wins by doing absolutely nothing strategy. Yes, we've all seen the videos of, like, Mario Party gameplay where the Luigi player just stands there and does nothing. Everybody just runs off the cliff. Alpha Rigi says, as Raging Golden Eagle pointed out, the console wars fixated on the battle for 4th place. Yes. Now, you know, I have a PS3. I also have a Wii. Those are the most recent consoles I have. So I'm not exactly super invested in the console wars. But, you know, I've always been a big Nintendo fan. You know, I kind of wish that Sony could get its shit together because I like Sony too. Nintendo really is just winning by watching everybody else fuck up even worse. But of course, as we all know, Nintendo could fuck it up really potentially if they lean into the idiot fans. And speaking of that, yep, we're talking about Femboy Link again because it keeps coming up. Okay, so there's still discourse about the stupid Breath of the Wild cross-dressing scene. I mean, it's only been 8 years, guys. Yeah, so people are saying that it's orientalist because he's wearing like a bedla and, sheer parachute pants and stuff. It's orientalist. Yeah, that's what's offensive about this. The fact that, you know, the character who's unfairly shoved into a cross-dressing twink boy role, he's orientalist about it. Yeah, that's really what's offensive about this. Yeah, never mind the, millions of young boys who aspired to be like Link and be like badass heroes, 6-year-old Larsen included. No, the Orientalism is what's offensive here. Alpha Marigi says mobile gaming is first, Nintendo and PC are second and third. Everybody's arguing about Xbox versus PlayStation. Imagine this treatment for any other competition. Yes. As somebody pointed out, we've honestly kind of hit like diminishing returns on like graphical and sound capacity because like you can't really get much better than it is now. I mean, I played PS3 and like it's the graphics still look amazing to me. I mean, hell, there's even like GameCube and PS2 games that still look really good. Like the Resident Evil remakes for GameCube still look good. Ponythroat says the PS3 and Wii are about as old as the NES was when they first came out. I will never think of them as retro. Well, yeah, it helps that the PS4 and the Xbox One are kind of shit. They don't really have games, and neither do the PS5. And does Microsoft even have a new console out now? I don't know, and I really don't care. But yeah, if I never see another goddamn post about the fucking Breath of the Wild cross-dressing thing, I will die a happy man. I'm so fucking sick of talking about this and reading about it. And I'm so goddamn sick of the fact that The Legend of Zelda has a deluge of new fans who are nothing but porn-addicted retards who legit think that the game is about some cross-dressing little gay boy who gets pounded in the ass. I'm sorry, but like I feel like that's what like the casual person thinks the franchise is about now, and it makes me want to put my head through the wall. I've said this before and I'll say it again. The Zelda games ought to have stories more like the mangas, which really go into more detail about like the whole, I would say distinctly Buddhist, existential horror of endless reincarnation. Like imagine the sort of like a Buddhist Elric of Melniboné. That's kind of what Himakawa does with the mangas. They should put that in the games. And also the mangas very overtly make Link like kind of a swaggering chud. At least the Twilight Princess manga does, who like max on women. So, Mr. Aonuma-san, well, that's redundant. Aonuma-san, the next Zelda game, which is going to come out probably, 4 or 5 years or so, is going to be a new, reincarnation, a new saga. Make the next Link like a cigar-smoking, swaggering, like, dude bro. So you can shut up this gay thing once and for all. And finally, my last story, infamous YouTuber Nik Avocado has apparently been running a massive troll on us the whole time. Basically, all his like fat videos where he gains weight, those are actually pre-recorded. He has in fact actually been losing weight this whole time. And he posted a recent video titled 2 Steps Ahead where he is skinny. So, dare I say, this is some fairly intelligent trolling on Mr. Nik Avocado's part, except for the fact where he posted pictures of his horrifying inflamed anus. Except for that, that was I could have done without that. But yeah, he was basically making millions of dollars while scamming the internet, and I think that's pretty clever, actually. You know, personally, I would have like not. I know he's gay, but like I still wouldn't have. You know, spread it for the world. Personally, that would not be part of my my master plan. But you know, good for him, I suppose. So, yeah, yeah, I've seen things that I can never unsee with that man. Okay, Sipung Messiah going on talking about the comparatively more wholesome talk of gay femboy Link. He said, I want to be like Link and Fox, and the first are doing to Fox what the femboys are doing to Link. They make Fox just be Wolf's butt boy. It sucks. Yeah, it sure does suck. I mean, I could also say that about the Star Fox franchise for the past couple of decades, but, you know, whatever. You know, the whole gay Link thing could easily be solved if you just made him look like he used to look like the official artwork for Adventure of Link and Link's Awakening and Majora's Mask, Ocarina of Time, and Twilight Princess. You know, those games, like he had, you know, he looked like a dude. He looked like he could fight. He was fucking ripped and stuff. Can't have that anymore. You know, I guess in the '90s, people were just more masculine, like the culture, and nowadays he has to look like a little noodle-armed twig boy. And I can't say I approve of that. Imagine, I'm like, you know, 7 years old. I'm playing Nintendo 64. I see Link pick up like the monolith from 2001: A Space Odyssey and like throw it over his head and like smash it against the mountain. I'm like, holy shit, that could be me one day. But nope, nope, nope. He has to be some, you know, little twink, you know, butt boy. Anyway, Alpha Marigi says Star Fox Adventures has good fur detail. Yes, yes, it does. Seabunk Messiah says he likes the furry fandom, but some of the people just grind my gears. Yeah, like, you know, I'll even say that about like the gay porn enthusiasts. Like that's if you're into that, you want to draw your porn or whatever, like that's fine, your business. But understand that like most people don't want to see that. Like keep it to yourself. Have some decorum, please. Ponythroat says Star Fox Adventures fur detail helps corrupt a generation of gamers. Alpha Rodriguez says he had a I get it now moment when I thought about how much ass Crystal was showing in a cartoon game. Yeah. It's like, guys, did you really have to play like sleazy saxophone music when Fox sees her for the first time? It's a bit gauche. Also, I'm really surprised that nobody's claimed that like Star Fox Adventures is a colonialist like allegory, where Fox is basically like the white man or white fox. You know, he's a red-haired, green-eyed ginger. He comes down to a primitive planet and he bangs like the native woman and he like kind of kicks the shit out of the natives. I'm surprised nobody's made that analysis yet. Alpha Rodriguez says Ozempic changing the game. He still fucked up his body. Yeah, I guarantee you Ozempic's going to have some pretty bad side effects we're going to see not too far in the future. Ponythrow says, it's okay, guys. I was pretending to be morbidly obese. Well, I mean, he was morbidly obese. He was obese at the start, and he was secretly losing weight the whole time. Ponythrow says, Nik Avocado's ass looks like he enjoys being fisted with whole rotisserie chickens. Yeah, his yes, I can never purge my mind of that memory, no matter how hard I try. Like, why is his anus moist? My God. Ponythroat says, more gamers would have been corrupted had it got its original N64 release. Yes, where it was literally just Crystal the whole time. Alpha Rodriguez says they would have to actually play the game to make that analysis. I mean, I played through that game. It's not particularly great. but, I did it. Ponythroat says, is Ozempic just meth like most miracle diet pills? Liam Roddy then explains, it's not a weight loss drug, it's a drug for diabetes. It's affecting people's skin and making it thin and rubbery. Basically, it kills your appetite, so you just don't eat, basically. C-Punk Messiah says Fox kicking General Scales' ass would have been 10 times more badass than the Andros bullshit. Ah, yes, like, you start the final battle with the General, you hit him once and it ends immediately. Shinseki Evans says, what do you think of YouTube going damnatio memoriae on Lauren Shen? Well, I can't say I approve. I'm basically a free speech absolutist. I don't approve of anybody being censored, really, unless they're making explicit, like, death threats. Alpha Marigi says, it was a pretty old game and only sold a couple million copies. The Zoomies only play remakes. Well, the reason that they're only making remakes is because the modern games are such hot garbage that the old games are better. Speaking of, at some point, I'm going to buy some new PS3 games. Did they ever re-release God Hand on PS3? Does anybody know? Speaking of, like, zany action games starring loser otaku men, boy, I really wish my parents could find my copies of No More Heroes 1 and 2. Because my marriage isn't complete until I show my wife those games. Yeah, that does it for my prepared remarks, and you can say your last pieces now. Ponythroat says, Star Fox Adventures as a game really isn't very good. Yeah, it's not great. Ponythroat says, God Hand was a PS2 exclusive. Well, yeah, I know, but so were Eco and Shadow of the Colossus, and those got re-released on PS3. And no, I can't play God Hand on my PS3 because it's not one of those ones that's backwards compatible. I know that because I bought a copy of God Hand and I couldn't play it. C-Punk Messiah says, go listen to the band Coroner. They rock. I will look into them, sir. Speaking of rock and roll, one of my students actually is into the rock and roll. And I'm like, oh, thank God, a Zoomer that doesn't listen to just shitty mumble rap. So yeah, you can say your last pieces. Okay, sadly, God Hand never did get a re-release. Alpha Marigi says, Gamer from Mars made a 90-minute retrospective on Anita Sarkeesian. Most of the comments are beating his ass over having a virtual casino sponsor. I mean, they should, because virtual online casinos are hot garbage. Yeah, I'm going to give my bank account numbers and credit card numbers to this company that, is unaccountable. Yes, being in an in-person casino would be much, much safer. Liam Roddy says, I'm going to chop down the internet. Yeah, you do you, Bob Chandler. Okay, it seems like nobody has anything else to say. So for Larsen, what? Okay, Ponyfoot says Bob Chandler's room remains sealed to this day. Correct me if I'm wrong, but did Chris and his mom move to a new house? Alpha Rodriguez says somebody pointed out that Bob Shipman was ahead of the game on how much Democrats dehumanize conservatives. Yeah, I talked about that 2 weeks ago, sir. Pony Throat says it's full of electronic treasures that Chris cannot comprehend. Oh, there's a lot of things Chris Chandler can't comprehend. Okay, let's go through those kibbles and bits, please. Pony Throat clarifies they have moved into a temporary house, but Barbara still lives in the old house. Okay, so I think we're done here. For Larsen Halleck, this has been... Wait, here we go again. William Roddy says, Christine, you mean? Well, yes, of course. Ponyfoot says, Chris lives in some kind of tard house now. Yeah, for the sake of my sanity, I kind of stopped following the Chris Chan saga. So I don't know what's really been going on with that. Hey, Alpha Rodriguez says Kamala Harris got CWC's endorsement. Good to know. All right, so I'm seriously ending it here. For Larsen Halleck, this has been Larsen Halleck. All of you have a good day.